So, it's only been a few days, but iOS 27 is shaping up to be one of the most impactful updates to iOS in recent memory because it's not just about a visual difference this time, it's about a lot of extra functionality, reducing the friction in multiple steps and multiple actions, giving everything just a much easier path forward when you need to get from point A to point B on your iPhone. Yes, a lot of it is the new Siri capabilities, but Apple also added a ton, and I mean a ton of quality of life improvements throughout the operating system and the UI that we gotta show off. So I wanna talk about 20 different hidden iOS 27 features that get progressively better and more impactful as the video goes on, with the last one being my favorite one. So without further ado, comment down below your favorite iOS 27 feature that maybe not a lot of people know about, and let's get right into this thing. Well everyone, let's get right into this. As you can see, we got the 17 Pro running developer beta 1 of iOS 27. You can see it's a beta 1 because some of these apps are grayed out, even though they're fully functional and I can go into them. They're just grayed out because it's a developer beta 1, so growing pains. But the first thing that we're actually taking into account is going to be in the Messages application. You can see that on iOS 26, you usually have the voice record option built right in there. And funny enough, Justin Bieber actually came out a couple months ago and said that it was poor UI design for that to be there. So what they did was they allowed you to switch between record audio and start dictation, or remove it completely. So you have the record audio option. You can see that it now shows up there. If I go back, do start dictation, go back here, you can see that it's now the little microphone. And then if I press none, of course, now it's completely gone. So that is the first one that I wanted to mention. And like I said, they will get progressively more useful as I go through these features. But the next one is going to be in the timer application. It's actually in the control center. So you want to make sure that you have the timer control widget up in your control center already. If you tap on here, we get this beautiful new UI design that comes out of your dynamic island. It's dynamic, so you can move it around however you want. You set the timer, we'll start the timer right there. And then of course, now it lives in your dynamic island, so we can start the timer, and it is starting that timer right there. We can long press to open it up. We'll cancel that one out, which is good to see. So that's a new little UI tweak and feature, which I think is a welcome addition. So the next one's gonna be, again, in the Messages application. If you press this little plus sign right here, you guys know that we have a bunch of options here that you can play with, but the newest one that's been added is going to be the new drawing one. So this is brand new. You can draw whatever you want, draw a little house, draw a little thing right here. We'll press the little check mark, and then you can send out whatever hand sketch drawing that you want. This is probably a little bit more beneficial on the iPad specifically because it does give you Apple Pencil support, but still a fun little addition here. So the next one is actually a foreshadow into what I think is the reason they added this, which is going to be the iPhone Fold. But if you long press on here and start to customize your screen, first thing you notice is a little icon, the new icon right there, which is like a paintbrush. You tap on there. You're going to press add widget, all the functionality is still there, but the new thing here is that we have a new size, and it's basically a full screen size widget. So if I go to a first party app like the Reminders application, you have the small one, medium, large, and now you have a full screen size widget that if you add it on here, it takes up again the entire screen itself. So I think this is a foreshadow into the iPhone Fold that's coming out later this year, so you can kind of take advantage of that larger two-tone display, but that is a new addition that Apple gave us, extra large or full screen size widgets. So the next thing is going to be in the keyboard. So what's much better about the keyboard this time around is that it's much smarter. So you can see right here that I have something already copied in my clipboard. And whenever you have something actively copied in your clipboard and you open up any situation where there is a keyboard active, it's going to ask if you want to paste it, because that's of course what most people think is going to happen. So you can paste it right there. It'll automatically paste the clip, the YouTube video, the URL, or whatever text that you have copied over, or image or video. So I love seeing that. So again, much smarter clipboard features in your native keyboard. The next one again is in that same light of foreshadowing the fact that we're getting an iPhone Fold, is that now a lot more first-party applications are allowing landscape mode, which is kind of akin to what we got with the A+ way back in the day. So for instance, this is the weather application. Normally it's just in the regular vertical mode, but if you switch it sideways, we get a new horizontal mode, and I have the smaller iPhone 17 Pro. I thought this would be reserved just for the 17 Pro Max, but it looks like pretty much most native applications have some sort of sidebar view like this, which is cool to see. So if we open up again, maybe the Reminders application, let's see if maybe you turn it sideways. Yep, it goes sideways as well. So it's cool to see that they're adding a lot more of this native UI design, because now they're trying to get developers used to creating larger widgets for the iPhone Fold, taking advantage of the larger display. That could be a whole separate video, and comment down below if you guys want to see something like that. And then in that same light, if you do go to the weather application, we got a new section in the weather app called highlights. So again, it's exactly what it sounds like. It probably takes all the information that it's taking into account and gives you like the high level highlights of what to expect out of the weather. So that's something new in the weather application. And then another one, which I didn't know a lot of people wanted, but I guess I get it now, is going to be volume controls for individual type of volume categories. So if we go into our settings, let's go back to where we were. So if we go to sound and haptics, you now have the option to, depending on what you're using, you can change the ringtone volume on each category. So for instance, you have your ringtone, you have a certain volume here, and then you have these two toggles right here. It says match ringtone volume. You can untoggle that, and now you get a volume slider for the alarm and timers. You can untoggle this one, and now you get a separate alarm slider for the alert and system sound. So if you do want to change up those volumes, by all means, go for it. It is now an option. I like to keep them synced just so it's easier. It's one less thing that I have to worry about or think about, but that is something to take into account there. The next is also going to be in the settings, but it's going to be for your action button. So they've added a couple more options for the action button, and I did actually check this with my old 16 Pro that I have, still running iOS 26, but it looks like they added two new ones, which is going to be the magnifier and translate directly into the action button itself. So comment down below if you see this with iOS 26. With my 16 Pro Max, I didn't see these two options, so I wanted to add it in this video as an iOS 27 feature. So now the next feature, we're now into our top 10, which I think is going to get more beneficial, is going to be in the settings again, in your Wi-Fi. So if you go into your Wi-Fi and scroll down underneath all the different Wi-Fis that you see, you have this connectivity assist. Now, we had something similar to this with iOS 26, but now it's much better, much more reliable, much easier to use, and it's basically allowing you to use cellular data in addition to Wi-Fi for more reliable internet connection. iPhone keeps track of how much cellular data is used for connectivity assist. You can view your overall cellular data usage in the cellular settings. So again, you can see that I've been using 3.16 megabytes of this new connectivity assist to help me when maybe my Wi-Fi is cutting in and out, or maybe I'm in a dead spot in my house that does have cellular data available. So that's a good little addition to have. It's almost like a backup failsafe if your Wi-Fi does go out, or if your Wi-Fi is a little bit spotty in certain areas of your house. Now this next one is actually really powerful. I was debating where to put it, but it's going to be the search settings. Search in iOS 27 has become absolutely amazing. And the main reason is because if you do go into your settings, most people who are in the developer beta 1, and again, this is almost 2-3 days later now at this point, and my phone is still indexing. It's indexing in progress, meaning that it's looking at everything over and over again, going all the way back to all the data that I have, so it can index that stuff, making it much easier to search. So you can literally search for anything. So let's search maybe photo I sent to my brothers. Let's see, it's going to load up. Let's see if we can even take that into account, because I have a chat called The Bros. It's looking over results. See how quick or fast this goes. So I found the Bros group chat. If I swipe down, it gives me all the information that we have on here, and you can kind of elaborate on that. So again, search has gotten much better, not only with just Siri, but search across your entire system. So in your settings, being able to just go in here, go down to search. I remember this search in iOS 26 was horrendous. Finding something specific inside of search was so difficult. So if I want to go in here and do maybe dictation, it'll give me everything that involves dictation, versus I bet you if you type that into iOS 26, it'll give you way less options. The next one's gonna have to do with your AirPods. I did a whole video on all the changes that happened with the AirPods Pro, but I did want to briefly mention this one. So if you go into your settings, let's get out of here. You can see that, of course, your AirPods do show up. The AirPods got a brand new equalizer. So you have EQ settings, which again, I have it as customized right here. If you press play, it'll show you the live waveforms as well, and you can change this however you see fit. You just grab this, move it up and down, and I guess you have your low, mid, and high. So basically your bass, your mid, and your treble. Very easy, very self-explanatory, but such a useful feature for your AirPods. And then another thing with your AirPods is going to be that you now have heart rate sync. Now, this is specifically for the AirPods Pro 3, because AirPods Pro 3 have a heart rate sensor where none of the other ones do. So if you're ever at the gym and you go to a treadmill or elliptical or some sort of machinery in your gym that has a tap to sync for your health kit, you can tap your phone now and use your AirPods as the heart rate sync. Whereas prior to that, the only way to do this was via the Apple Watch. So you no longer need an Apple Watch to do that tap to sync, as long as you have a pair of AirPods Pro 3. The next one's gonna be in FaceTime. Now, do keep in mind that with this feature, you need to be using an iPhone 17 or newer, as well as being on iOS 27 for this to work, and both of them need to be on the same side. So it has to do with FaceTime, and we actually ran a test. I'll put a couple screenshots on here, and basically what it allows you to do is use both the front and the rear camera to show the person who you're FaceTiming with what you're seeing, as well as your face. So it makes it just a lot easier to be able to use both cameras at the same time. Again, if you are on iOS 27 and using a 17 Pro and FaceTiming somebody who has an iOS 26 phone and an older iPhone, then it'll work for you. So they'll be able to see both of your camera feeds, but they cannot show you their both camera feeds. So it's just something to take into consideration there, but something that's very cool in my opinion. So now the next piece that came to iOS 27 is going to be precision wayfinding with your Apple Watch to find your iPhone. They've not only added it for your iPhone, but they also added it for your AirPods Pro. So if you do want to use your wayfinding and precision wayfinding specifically, your Apple Watch Ultra or any Apple Watch that does support watchOS 27 will be able to handle that. I'm using my Apple Watch Ultra 2 in order to get that done with my AirPods Pro 3 as well as my 17 Pro. So now the next one does have to do with the new Siri chat app. So if we go to the Siri app, I don't even know if I have it over here, but Siri does have its own dedicated application that does sync across all of your devices. So if you have a voice or text conversation with Siri, you'll be able to find it here. As you can see, I already have a bunch of them. But what's nice about this is if we start a new one, you actually have the ability to still use ChatGPT as your default search engine or AI assistant inside of this application. So the way that you do that is you go over here into your settings. The same way if you go down into Siri, go down to where it says ChatGPT, make sure that this extension is turned on. You can sign in if you want to sync all that stuff, but I didn't sign in, I kind of left it blank. And then if we go back here, all you have to do is tap on the little menu bar here, we'll press ask, and then you have the option to switch it to ChatGPT here. So if you do want to continuously use ChatGPT inside of the Siri application, you can do that. I don't really understand what the need for that would be, but again, it is an option if that's something that you want to do. The next one is going to be with visual intelligence. Now, we're gonna have a whole video going over all the different nuances and changes. The interesting thing with Siri this time around is that, yes, it has a ton of functionality, but it's so abstract that it's on a case-by-case basis on what you need it to do, right? For some people, some things might be super useful. For other people, it might not be. So it's all kind of, your mileage may vary on how much use you get out of Siri and how you end up using it. But I do want to talk about visual intelligence as well as analyzing food. So you can still pull up visual intelligence if you hold down the camera control button, so it'll pop it up right there. But it is actually also built into your regular camera app. So if I open up the camera, which is right here, you can see that it's right there. You can switch between the regular photo as well as Siri. And what I like to do here is show off that it can look at a food. You can press look up nutrition. It'll look up the nutrition for you. And what I like about Siri's implementation or Apple's implementation of this is that they don't try to guess or guesstimate the caloric intake. They don't try to guess the macros in here. There's a bunch of applications like MyFitnessPal, Macro Factor, all these apps that are taking a picture of something and then they're giving you exact numbers, which is impossible, right? I was somebody who tracked my macros for like 3 straight years. Every piece of food, I tracked it manually in MyFitnessPal from like 2012 to 2016. So the way that you cook food matters a lot, whether you use oil or not, whether you use fat or not, whether you use mayo or mustard. There's a lot of variables. So the fact that Apple's going this route, where they're giving you like a worse, bad, good, better, best kind of situation, I think is the way to go. Because it'll see that this is a burger and fries, probably not the healthiest meal that you can go with. So it'll let you know what you're seeing. It'll let you know nutritional value is low, and then it'll kind of flag why it's low, right? And you can kind of look at some information there if you want to. So I like this form of doing it versus giving you a guesstimation on caloric intake, because it's just sometimes chicken and fish look the same, but their macros are completely different. Like a salmon versus or white meat versus dark meat. There's so many variables that giving an exact number via some of these other applications is just so misleading in my opinion. But the way that they're doing it with this, I think, is the better situation or the better version of guesstimating if a food is good for you or not. And now for the top 2, this next one's going to be in the passwords application. So this is the one thing that Siri can do agentically, which means that it can do something completely on your behalf as long as you give it the okay. So if we go into the passwords app, this app has been here for I believe a year or 2 now at this point, but you see that we have security here. I have like 1 million compromised passwords. You can tap in here, and then what it allows you to do is out of those, it can automatically fix 52 of them. You press get started, and what's happening here is actually very interesting. You can kind of either do them all or select a couple or select just one of them if you want to. I've tried it with a couple of these. I tried it with Car Gurus, it didn't work, but then I tried it with Hotels.com and it did. So what it basically is doing is you're giving it permission to reset your password for you, and it's taking everything into account here. So normally when you do reset a password, you get a 2-factor authentication, you get an email or a text message. It's all doing that for you. You're giving it permission to receive that information, do that on your behalf, and then change the password on your behalf and then save it. So maybe let's try a random one here that I don't use too often. Here we go, Macy's. If we press on this, let's go to show details. It'll do all the information here. Let's go with fixed password. We're going to allow that. And then it's going to do its thing here. What's cool about it, I'll put a screenshot if this one doesn't work. I got an email from hotels.com that confirmed my password change. So it definitely worked with hotels.com, but like I said, it didn't work with the Car Gurus one. Now, I haven't tried it with something a little bit more pressing, like I'm not changing my bank account information with it. I'm not changing even some of the services that I use kind of more often that aren't financially based, like the HBOs or Netflixes. As of right now, I'm not going to trust it to do that. I don't really know. It just feels a little weird to do that, but you can see that it is running in the background, and we'll leave it as is, and we'll come back to it when it is done. So it should take a minute or two, or it'll just tell you like, hey, we actually can't do it with this one. So as you can see, I swiped away. It is fixing it in the background. So again, I don't know if it's going to work or not, but at least you know that it's something that Apple's working on for you. And let me know if you guys do trust this new situation when it comes to compromised passwords. So it looks like it finished. Let's go back here, and it does say unable to sign in. So again, your mileage may vary on this one. And then the last one is in the Shortcuts application. This one is probably my favorite because it's just how cool it is, but you now can use natural language to describe a shortcut that you want created. So you can press new shortcut, and you can literally say whatever you want. So maybe let's do, I need a shortcut that will frame a screenshot in the correct iPhone frame moving forward. So this is a tough one. Let's see if it actually can create one. I created one the other day that just created a shortcut to send my wife a text or something at noon every single day, telling her that I miss her, that I love her, and it works super well. So here we go. We'll press image. Let's go from the clipboard. We'll press done. So again, this is all being created in the background. And what's cool is that, again, shortcuts are a little bit intimidating, or at least they are for me. So again, get the latest screenshot, frame it using Apple Intelligence, preview the result. We'll press a plus sign. Let's see if this works actually. I'm curious. Okay, so for this one particularly, it can't do it because it needs to get the actual iPhone image or frame from somewhere, and it can't do that. But you have the bare bones in here. So look, it created all this from scratch for me. So if you are somebody who lives in the Shortcuts application, you want to play around with it, I highly recommend trying this one out. It's fantastic for easy automations and shortcuts to create. And if you want to get a little bit more granular, you just kind of test it out as you see fit. But I think this is the future. So those are 20 different ones that I wanted to show off. Let's finish up the video. So as you guys saw, there are plenty of new features and tweaks and UI changes inside of iOS 27. And I just think Apple is on the right path again when it comes to user experience, what matters, what's important. And for all the people that thought maybe Apple's falling behind on the AI race, I think they're actually one step ahead of everybody else. But let me know what you guys think with a comment down below. Stay tuned because Jeff is releasing one of his movie-long type of videos where he's going over 200 plus different changes in iOS 27. That one's going to be amazing. Definitely check that out. But if you guys didn't make it to the end, leave a little dolphin. Comment your favorite iOS 27 feature. We have an iPad video coming out here relatively soon that I'm excited to show off. But that'll do it. If you guys want to watch more videos like this one, check out one of these videos right here. Until next time, I'm Fernando. Peace.